Good morning. It's 9 o'clock, and I'm Sam Rutherford with your headlines. In the spirit of giving, a Nashville CEO is in need this holiday season. Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, has covered the full $65,000 food cost for the Metro Nashville Police Department's Christmas Basket program. The long-standing tradition delivers holiday meals and toys to 425 families recommended by officers who've encountered them throughout the year, ensuring no one goes without during tough times. McDowell, who grew up relying on community help in Hendersonville, says there's no reason a single person or family should go without food in a great city like Nashville. I'm happy to give back and challenge others to do the same. MNPD Chief John Drake adds, I'm so grateful for community partners like Chuck McDowell who understand the mission and are moved to help in truly meaningful ways. It's a reminder of the power of local generosity. A large part of one Oklahoma town is under evacuation orders after an ammonia leak last night. ABC's Jim Ryan reports.
Outside a hotel just off historic Route 66 in Weatherford, Oklahoma, firefighters responded at around 10 p.m. to reports of people suffering burning eyes and breathing difficulty.
When they arrived, they did find a tanker truck there that was leaking and immediately found people that were coming out of the immediate area in respiratory distress.
Weatherford Fire Chief Mike Carlin says 36 people were hospitalized and that around 500 people in the town of 12,000 have been evacuated. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And in local news, Brentwood and Belmead police are warning residents, WSMV4 reports, of organized burglars targeting high-end homes in broad daylight. Over the past 2 weeks, at least 6 break-ins have been reported. Thieves smashing glass doors, grabbing jewelry, cash, and designer bags, then fleeing in stolen vehicles. Investigators say the crews, possibly from out of state, and also possibly part of a South American theft group, use spotters and follow homeowners to learn routines. No one's been home during the burglaries, but police urge extra caution. Some tips include install visible cameras, use smart lighting, and report suspicious vehicles immediately. Brentwood PD has increased patrols, and a joint task force with Belmead is now active. And a delay this morning on I-24 westbound was caused by a car leaving the roadway. The vehicle fell approximately 19 to 20 feet down into the narrow Red River, causing the westbound lane of I-24 to be shut down since around 5 o'clock this morning. No word yet on when it will reopen. The driver was pronounced dead at the scene. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. An hour and 2 minutes into the market open, the Dow is down 117 points, the Nasdaq is down 284, and the S&P is down 48. That's the latest news. We've got your traffic coming up next. I'm Sam Rutherford, WTN News.
We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Why on earth would you need a water filter? Does anybody?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
It's a reason. BetterWater.com. We got to start. We got to start with some smiles.
Sorry, I'm so trigger happy this morning. After not doing any with Dan this morning, basically, until you got in, I feel.
Yeah, you're ready to go. So I had a guy at church come up to me the other day.
Oh yeah,
yesterday, Mr. Harville, and he said, "What's the oh yeah from?"
Oh yeah,
and I said, "Yeah, because you play it a lot."
Oh, I play it. Oh yeah, all the time.
And I said, "Oh, that's Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino getting excited about busting pedos,
going after pedophiles, throwing them in jail,
cracking skulls."
I
would prefer a wood chipper, feet first, slow speed,
absolutely.
but we gotta. This is why we need to codify some of these executive orders into law.
Yeah,
That should be an executive order. That's one I could get behind.
Extra dull blades on that chipper.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like rusty.
Oh yeah,
Rusty.
You'll die of tetanus before you bleed out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
All right, so we've had a tough couple of hours. Yeah. The MAGA base, right? And I've seen the tweets. A lot of people tweet, MAGA is dead. Is it though? Is it? I don't think it is. Is Trump bending the knee? Maybe. I think that you can make that argument. I think that you can make that argument a lot more easily than MAGA is dead. And I'm trying to make this argument last night because I don't believe that the Make America Great Again agenda is dead. I don't believe that the America First agenda is dead. We're just experiencing some growing pains. And I just, while we can be displeased with some of the moves that we've seen from Trump, the H1B visas in particular has been a highlighted point over the past 48 hours. Does MAGA, if MAGA dies when Trump is telling us that he supports H1B visas, then we have a bigger issue because we're not going to make America great again overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. And if we're going to believe that MAGA is dead because Trump turned on us with H1B visas, then MAGA wasn't going to survive anyway. Let's be honest. And if you find yourself pissed off today because of the H-1B visa stuff, because you feel like Americans are being treated as second-class citizens, well, first, I'm with you. But second, be grateful that we noticed these things because for a long time, this stuff was happening and everybody was asleep at the wheel. So we're in a far better position today than we were when all the factories were being sent overseas for NAFTA, when the H-1B stuff started in the first place. We're in a far better place. So I want to start with that. We are in a much better place today in 2025 than we have been in a long time. And one of the reasons is the levels of noticing. More people are tuned into what's happening in the political process, I think, than ever before. It's permeated all points of culture, and people are aware. That's a good thing. The fact that more people are pissed off at Trump about H-1B visas, I think is a good thing. I think it's a good thing. And as I'm kind of formulating this thought last night, I came across an old Rush Limbaugh clip, and we love Rush. We love Rush, right? And I played this during the campaign. I played this on the lead up to the election, and it's a classic Rush clip. But he's talking about when Trump is being prosecuted and how they're trying to bash Trump and sever him from you, right? And take that aside for a second. The key takeaway from this Rush clip is when he says the ideas in MAGA came before Trump. This was Rush Limbaugh a few years ago.
I know they desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump, 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going anywhere. Even if Trump does, you're not. They can't separate you from Trump. And more importantly, They can't separate you from the ideas.
That's the point.
They can't separate you from MAGA. They can't separate you from Make America Great Again, which I think remains one of our big campaign strengths going forward. They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump.
So as today, everybody's feeling a bit black-pilled on the Make America Great Again movement. If we take the Trump stuff out of that clip, I think the big takeaway is the ideas came before Trump, okay? These ideas that we have, they were harnessed by Trump. He used them to propel himself to victory in 2016 and in 2020 and in 2024. Yep, I said 2020. But the ideas have been there for a while. And more people today in America believe in these ideas than ever before. The awakening that we've seen, the shaking that we've seen in this country is insane. And we, before we get black-pilled, before we get doomer-pilled, I just want to let everybody know, if this was 10 years ago, if this was 15 years ago, would we even be having this conversation? The fact that we can have this conversation today shows how far we've come, and it's a huge win. Now, I say all that not to excuse the comments from Donald Trump. I think that they were awful. When you say Americans have no talent, so we have to import the talent, it's just bovine scatology. You know it. I know it. And you wonder who's speaking into this Trump administration, who's giving this guy these talking points. Where is this coming from? And there's a lot of reasons why we should be upset with these talking points. And if you didn't hear the clip, it was Trump on with Laura Ingraham, and he's talking about the H-1B visas. Laura, I'll be perfectly honest with you, she did an awesome job, an unbelievable job interviewing President Trump. It was one of the best Laura Ingraham interviews I've ever seen. The way she pushed back on him, he wasn't ready for it. He just wasn't. There's no getting around it. And she didn't let up. She kept pushing back. These are the comments in case you missed them. This was Donald Trump in an interview with Laura Ingraham talking about H-1B visas.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
I love the pushback. Laura Ingraham is absolutely right. Hey, spoiler alert. In World War II, do you know what we did? We took unemployed women and we put them on the factory line, and they made missiles and tanks and airplanes. Like, it's been done before. We saved the Western world doing it. Yes, Americans can do it. 100%. There is nothing that we can't do in America. Let this be a moment that wakes people up. I'm here for it. We also need to understand that we need to push back harder, even if we've supported this administration, because this is our country. And what are we going to do? Are we going to bend over and say, oh, geez, sir, that's great, let me take another? No. And we've seen a lot of pushback. A lot. Which is clutch. We need to be vocal. Will Cain on his show, I like Will Cain a lot. I think that he's been an awesome replacement for, it was Cavuto that he replaced. He was talking about the H-1B scam, and he broke it down. While Trump says that you can't have any, we can't grab people off the unemployment line, there's no talent in this country, Will Cain says, really, sir? Because 80% of the H-1B visa holders are holding those in entry-level jobs.
700,000 H-1B visa holders in America. Now, who is coming to this country to take these high-skilled jobs. As I mentioned, STEM fields dominate the occupations, and most of the workers come from India. In fact, 70% of H1B visa holders come from India. Another 10 to 15% come from China. 80% of H1B visa approvals are for entry-level or junior-level jobs. That's a little hard to stomach when we hear that we're not talented enough or that we're not skilled enough for these jobs, when you consider that most of these jobs are actually at entry or junior level jobs.
We don't have the talent to fill entry or junior level jobs, they say. We have to import the talent. It's just wrong. Everybody knows it. You're making Americans compete with foreigners for spots in universities and colleges, for jobs, for the homes, for the apartments. This is bovine scatology from the president. Brian on the road wants to push back on that, and I'm here for the conversation. What's up, Brian? Yo, Brian, what's up, man? Oh.
I agree with you and anybody else, Laura, Ingram, whoever. I saw the interview. I agree with the premise. That's true. But this started a long time ago, and he can't come in here in 10 months and fix it. He says during the interview, if you play it back and you listen, I'm sure you do, that he agrees that it's not right. But he has to do what he has to do with what he's got right now, and he'll fix it over time. You can't say that this guy has done all he's done closing the border. Come on, that's where a lot of them come from. I know the H1B. I know nothing about it, but I don't know anybody on it, and I work at a large corporation with a lot of foreigners, I would say. They're not Indian. They're probably not H1B employed, but they still barely speak the language. They do the job very well. I talk to them enough to get to know them and say, what do you do on a daily basis? Are you assimilating? And they say they are, and I believe them because I see them come to work every day and be nice people and speak our language.
So,
even though it's broken.
I hear you when you say that, but I would just say, we haven't asked him to do this overnight. And this is Trump in 2016 talking about H-1B visas. He's known about this for a long time.
Well, first of all, I think, and I know the H-1B very well, and it's something that I frankly use, and I shouldn't be allowed to use. We shouldn't have it. Very, very bad for workers. And second of all, I think it's very important to say, well, I'm a businessman, and I have to do what I have to do, and it's sitting there waiting for you, but it's very bad. It's very bad for business in terms of, it's very bad for our workers, and it's unfair for our workers, and we should end it.
It's very bad for our workers. It's unfair for our workers. We should end it to we don't have the talent. Okay. Explain the change. Okay. And how is it that we can't do this overnight? But we're talking about a 10-year time period now. Okay, you know what I mean? He's had a decade. And I think my big issue with this is that we're staring down midterms. And if we don't do something to rack up more wins domestically, then guys, we have absolutely wasted this window of opportunity.
Wait a minute. He has not had a decade. There was a ding-dong in the office for 4 years. A guy he tried to kill this country. He should be hung from a tree. I say this all the time. I know you don't go along with violence, but that's not violent. That's justice.
Yeah,
this guy. Listen,
I think the issue is at least we knew Biden hated us. Trump has been at it for a while. I mean, sure, you want to push back on the decade. I'll give you that. Let's say 5 years. He's okay. He's had 5 years in power to fix this, and he's done a complete 180 on the position that he campaigned on.
Well, no, I don't think he did, because if you listen to the interview, he said, I don't like it. I don't like it, but I got to do what I got to do. I'm out there selling this country's economy to all these, supposed $20 trillion investors, and I've yet to see a groundbreaking on TV or anything for any of those big time plants now, and I want to do that, and I push back against him for not. I want to see something. I don't want to talk, but at the same time, he's out there selling this country and he has to play by the rules as they are today. I guess the H1B is an approved program. I sent a text to Dan earlier that said, tell us the history of that, who started it, who approved it, who's let it sit on the books. It's almost like all the senators and congressmen who are supposed to be Trumpers, and they sat on their you-know-what for years before he came in with some gonads, and now they all grew gonads. You know, now they're all, yeah, we got a tough guy in office. Now we're going to be tough. Well, where were you before? You know, I want people like Fetterman, and I never thought I would say that. I want people like Fetterman that can say, look, I'm for right and wrong. I know the difference, and I'm for right. And I don't care what my party says.
But then why are you defending him so hardly? If we're for right and wrong, and we're going to call out what's wrong, the president going on TV and saying Americans have no talent, so we need to import that talent, that's wrong. And we need to be able to say it. We need to be able to call that out.
It is, but it's I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's conditional right now. I don't want any. Listen, I've got children. I'm 65. I worked a long time. My Social Security, bro, my Social Security would be double if we didn't have thieves in the administrations that we've had, Republicans and Democrats. It would be double because they're paying foreigners who never put a penny in. And I did it for 40 years. And I could say this. Don't you talk to me about, well, I would never do that because I like you a lot. I agree with 90% of what you say all the time. But today, I'm like, give him a little bit of grace here, bro. He said I don't agree with it, but I got to play with what I've been dealt. Now, over time, maybe he'll get rid of it. If he doesn't put any effort towards that.
But do you have any faith that he's even going to attempt to get rid of it when he's saying that Americans have no talent and we can't grab them and put them in factories?
100% believe he's America first. I know he's getting a lot of push.
He should be getting pushback from this. And
he should.
We've all lost something supporting this guy, whether it's friends, family, relationships, time. Like we've all put a lot into this. And then to turn around and say that Americans have no talent, to turn around and then say we need more Indians and Chinese here, and then on top of that, then that's going to lead to chain migration. So they're going to bring their family members here. I mean, at what point do we say enough is enough? I mean, like, I support the guy. I'm going to continue supporting the guy, but he needs to hear from the base. He needs to hear from us, and we need to get loud and say this is not okay.
I agree 100%, except for one thing. Let him play it out. You're rushing him. Listen, I want it done yesterday, but he can't do that. Look how many people. I mean, look.
If we keep giving him time, here's the thing: Gen Z and millennial voters are going to be the biggest voting bloc, right? And if he's giving their jobs away and their spots at universities and colleges to foreigners, they're going to say, this is two wings of the same bird. This is the uniparty. Donald Trump sold me a bill of goods, and they're not going to believe in this. They're going to leave the Republican Party. They might not go to the Democrat Party, but we're not going to win the midterms. Like, we don't have the time, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's Thanksgiving.
I'm into your commercial time, and I'm going to let you go. I agree with you, but I disagree.
I hear you. But we have to keep our foot on the gas. We got Thanksgiving in 2 weeks. Before you know it, it's going to be Christmas. Guess what? New Year's is here, and then it's campaign season. You understand that, right? The ability to get work done in D.C., it's about to fall off a cliff. We have no time. We need a sense of urgency. 925, Super Talk. I said I wasn't going to blackpill people. Then I started by saying I wasn't going to blackpill anyone. But we need to keep it moving. We need a sense of urgency or we're going to lose all momentum. 925, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store. If you love freedom, you love the Second Amendment, you love a good deal, listen up, this is for you. They got a Black Friday special that isn't just going to be a sale. It's going to be a full-blown freedom party. You're not going to have to deal with big box store chaos. This is where real Americans are going to be shopping on Black Friday. They're going to blow the doors off of every sale you've ever seen. Massive discounts on everything, up to and including Glocks. Plus, There's going to be some giveaways. There's going to be some food trucks. There's going to be some live music. The whole thing is shaping up to be a party that you're going to brag about being at later. And if you know the Glock store, you know they don't mess around. This is going to be high level, top notch. This Black Friday blowout is going to make other sales in the past look tame. So skip them all. Celebrate your right to bear arms at the one, the only Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, especially on Black Friday.
Good morning, world, and all who inhabit it. It's 9:30, and I'm Sam Rutherford with your headlines. The FAA says it is now freezing flight reductions at major airports as more air traffic controllers report back to work. The historic government shutdown ending last night. ABC's Rachel Scott in Washington.
Hundreds of thousands of federal workers are being asked to return to work. They'll soon get back pay, but federal contractors like Willie Joe Price are out of luck.
How much stress does this put on you to go this long without a paycheck?
It's hard. In the process, during this shutdown, my car broke down.
She's a cafeteria worker at the Library of Congress and has not been paid in more than 40 days.
And internationally, a growing scandal in war-torn Ukraine. Its National Anti-Corruption Bureau says a corruption scheme elicited kickbacks worth $100 million from contractors hired to build defenses for Ukraine's energy infrastructure to protect it from attacks. ABC's Patrick Reevell in London on ABC's Start Here podcast.
According to prosecutors, at the heart of this corrupt scheme is a man called Timur Mindic, who is a former close business partner of President Zelensky. And Mindic is a co-owner of Zelensky's production company, Kvartal 95, back from when he was an actor.
It's worth noting that the Biden administration sent Ukraine approximately $175 billion from 2022 to 2025. And an uberly needed update for ride sharing here in Nashville. The new Women Preferences feature launched this week. It lets female drivers and riders match exclusively with other women, giving users more control, especially for those late night trips through downtown on Broadway. It's now live in the Uber app where women can simply toggle it on. The option also extends to teens on Uber Teen accounts, with parents able to request female drivers. Uber's Camille Irving says it's all about comfort, control, and confidence. This comes amid growing calls for tougher safety measures following multiple reports of assaults on women using ride shares in our city. While advocates like Susan Knapp of A Case for Women call it a welcome step, she questions why it took until 2025, 6 years after its successful debut in Saudi Arabia. Knapp adds, if they had rolled out safety features sooner, you'd have far fewer assaults happening now. Uber plans to expand this to 26 more U.S. cities soon. For now, it's a game changer for many in Nashville who feel the pinch of safety concerns. That's the latest news. We've got your weather coming up next. I'm Sam Rutherford, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at Cabinet Makeovers. Dan is a great guy, and you can trust him with your home. If you need to make that investment in your home, call Cabinet Makeovers. They just installed some unbelievable pull-out cabinets inside my house. My wife and I absolutely love them. We show them off to all of our friends. They say, I need to get these pull-out cabinets too. The pull-out game is strong. When you need to make that investment in your kitchen, do it with the guys at Cabinet Makeovers. Tennessee pride. They've been doing it for over 45 years, based in Middle Tennessee. Everything they do, every cabinet, every pullout, every drawer, all wood construction, full extension, soft close glides. The craftsmanship is of the highest levels. It really does make a difference in your kitchen. They don't stop at kitchens. Maybe you don't need that. Well, Cabinet Makeovers will do custom closets, pantries, cabinetry for every room in your house. Maybe you need to rehab the garage. Call Cabinet Makeovers. 615-331-7010, 615-331-7010, or find them online, cabinetmakeoverstn.com. 938 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can find us anywhere. iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us. Super Talk TV is up and running. What's that on? Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Are we on Rumble today?
We're on Rumble today.
Hit like and hit subscribe. Share the show with your friends. We appreciate it when you do so. We're talking about the H1B drama. I mean, at the end of the day, this is drama. This is fodder. But we do need to address it. As the MAGA base, we do need to call it out. I got a message from Valerie, who is one of the sweetest ladies you could ever meet. I know her from church. She's awesome. Wonderful lady. Said, Chris, I hear you and agree that Trump misspoke. But as far as what he's really had as far as time to get things done, let's remember how that first term went down. Who he had to work with and how the fourth year was completely sabotaged by the scam virus. The Congress he had then, the cabinet he had then, not the same presidency. We have doubted him before many times. He keeps being correct. Let's trust who God saved to lead our country. Listen, I hear you, Valerie. I'll gently push back. I do remember the first term. And I remember what happened when we lost the House and we lost the Senate. I remember the impeachment trials. And I remember 2 years of a presidency that couldn't get anything done. We came into this presidency with a renewed sense of optimism, with a mandate from the American people, and with an energy unlike anything I'd ever seen. And I think a lot of people can agree with that. We are now 10 months, 11 months in. 10 months. The biggest wins have been foreign. I agree the border's secure. That's great. It's awesome. But he keeps putting his foot into his mouth. And it's on all of us to speak up and push back. You know, after Charlie was assassinated, we all said, we're Charlie Kirk now. Charlie had a direct line to that administration. Charlie could walk into that office and he could tell Donald Trump what the base is thinking and Trump would listen to him. I fear he doesn't have that guy anymore. So are we going to say we are Charlie and not do what Charlie would have done? Charlie was tweeting about ending the H1B scam August 3rd, 2025. August 3rd, 2025. I posted this on Instagram. I posted his tweet. The social compact breaking down. We need urgency to restore it. Number 1, mass deportations. We still need to get those numbers up. Number 2, stop the H1B scam. That's number 2. Number 3, dramatically reduce legal immigration. Number 4, end chain migration in the visa lottery. 5, build 10 million homes for Americans. Number 6, crush the college cartel. I added a comment. I said, this shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't. Tell me I'm wrong. 615-737-9986. Let's go to Wayne in Nashville. Wayne, thanks for holding. What do you got, man?
Hey, your previous caller, I agree with him on a lot of things. I agree with you on some stuff, too. I like Trump, but we got to keep in mind, we didn't get here, like you said, Rome wasn't built in a day. And number 2, if you've been recently in the education system or you've had children in the education system, high school, college, when Trump says that we don't have talent, it's not because he's trying to be mean or say we got to bring in other people. It's the fact that our kids, that generation, they've lost out. They're the basement generation. They're the ones living in mom's basement thinking they're going to be superstars on video games and make millions of dollars. You know, the trade schools, schools are just now getting back up.
I get where you're coming from, but I do think that kind of attitude is going to hurt us with Gen Z voters and millennial voters. And to think that these H1B visas for these entry-level tech jobs, you need a mythical degree and some kind of brain that is just, you look like Megamind or something. That's just, it's categorically false. An 8th grader could do some of the coding that these Indian H1B visa receivers are doing. That's just the reality of it.
And I don't doubt that. But see, then again, you made the reference back to World War II, when all the women went into the factories and entry-level jobs. Well, again, those people were cut from different fabric. And they might have not have had. As a matter of fact, my wife has one of the old exams that her grandfather took when he was in elementary school, like the before high school, like 6th, 7th grade. And the questions on there are questions that even kids in college today will have very much difficulty in answering. And we're not talking about history and all that. We're talking about math and science and things like that. And they didn't have the multiple choice back then. All the questions on this test were like essay questions. And so when you're looking, you cannot compare that generation that came out of the Depression and brought us all the way up with the Gen X's into the space age and travel. The things they did back then without the technology that we've got were phenomenal. And even though we've got some really smart people, these people cannot function in the same aspect creatively oftentimes because they have become so dependent on electronics and living in their moms and dad's basements has not put them out there to where they have developed even social skills that are needed for the type of work and stuff that Trump is talking about. Now, can we do it? Yes. It's going to take some time for us to get that put back up there.
I mean, some of what you say, there's some truth to it. Has there been a dumbing down of the American education system? Sure. The kids living in mom and dad's basement, I think that we have to give them a bit of a pass here because of the explosion in the cost of living. And that's just a reality. And the explosion in the cost of living was no fault of their own. It just wasn't. And the solutions that they're putting out for home ownership, a 50-year mortgage, is not the business.
I don't agree with that either.
It's not. And I'll push back on the talent thing a little bit as well. SpaceX, 2011 to 2024. Do you know how many H1B visas holders that they had?
I don't.
20. 20. So how is it that this uber successful rocket company with this technology that can now land their own rockets back on Earth can do all of that with a lack of talent?
Well, and I'm not saying we don't have talent. We do have talent. I've been in the education system, and I've seen some very incredibly bright people. Matter of fact, I'll even brag on one of my sons. He has got an IT job. He is the director over the IT program at a company here locally. And he went to college. It wasn't for him. So he went and got his Microsoft certifications as a backup. And now he is doing quite well as IT director. So he's very smart. He's very smart. But the thing is that there's this vast majority of people like the Gen X's that they didn't have the drive for whatever reason. And again, at my age, I'm not that old, but you gotta the perspectives, and I understand where Trump's coming from because it's disheartening when you go out there. The schools. Take this for example. When I was in high school, we had the vocational classes. We had HVAC, we had plumbing, we had automotive, we had cosmetology, you name it, home economics, all those, and many, many more, agriculture and stuff. But those things went away, but now they're starting to come back into the schools. I got a friend whose kid is actually in he's finishing high school, but he's finishing it in a vocational school, one of those tech schools, learning welding, because that's what he wants to do. And they make good money. But that he is one out of I don't know how many that has a lot of drive, and you can see it in him. So there's this I don't know if it's 50-50 or 60-40, or what. I don't know what all the stats are. I'm not that person to keep up with all that. But I understand where Trump is coming from when it comes to talent, because we have got to rebuild the really super good talent. And the SpaceX program, Elon Musk, he went out there and he found him some cream of the crop people. And it can be done. But in general, and what we need in manufacturing, what we need in technology, what we got to get back into the United States that has been shipped out. And you mentioned World War II. We brought in scientists from Europe. We took Einstein. There were so many scientists and brilliant minds that came to the United States. They were foreigners. They came here. They're the ones that developed the nuclear bomb. Not to say that there wasn't Americans that worked on it too, but we farmed that out. Essentially, we brought in bright minds to help get that program going.
But I mean, when you point to the nuclear bomb and the scientists that are coming in, you can actually point to specialized fields. When you talk about these H-1B visas, 80% of them being given to entry-level jobs, that's not the same thing. That's undercutting American labor. You're paying an Indian $80K where you'd have to pay an American $120K. Like that, these two things don't match up. Like
Can I throw one more thing out there?
Absolutely.
Okay. I have a small business, right? And over the years, I have struggled to try to find funding, the finances. That's the big thing, right? When you're trying to run a business, is the finances. Yet I see foreigners come over here, and the government gives them free money, grants. They give them tax exemptions.
Yep.
They give them in some of these markets, and I don't want to sound typical or whatever, but there's some of these markets out there that they get like a 5-year tax-free grant on that business. And then at the end of the 5 years, they actually sell the business to another relative, and then that relative gets another 5 years of tax-free.
But I mean, this is all in the same stew, though, right? Like this is just another ingredient of prioritizing foreigners over American citizens. This is the issue, and this is, yes, the H-1B is part of that, but it's a much wider ranging issue, Wayne. And I appreciate the call. Chip Roy was on with Benny Johnson yesterday, and he's got a bill that he says he wants to introduce. He's going to be introducing that will freeze all immigration. And this is more where I'm at. Freeze everything. Chip Roy.
I've got a bill that I'm going to be introducing this week or next. We've had to wait because of the shutdown nonsense. That is a freeze on all immigration. Freeze it until we achieve certain objectives. Reforming things like chain migration and diversity and H-1B, ending H-1B, getting birthright citizenship dealt with. Ending, for example, Plyler v. Doe, which says that you have to educate illegal alien children. Go down the list of things. For example, my bill that says you got to vet people for their adherence to Sharia law. Why are we importing any human being that is adherent to Sharia law, which is totally contrary to the Constitution and our values in Western civilization? So my point is, we can amend that bill and people can have ideas, but I'm going to introduce a bill as a framework to say, why don't we just freeze immigration entirely until we sort this crap out, until we figure out who's here, why they're here, how many Chinese communists, how many people who are Islamists who want to remake America, how many people that are living on the public dole, that are living on welfare, that are going into the emergency room to get care, that are in our education system getting taxpayer-funded education because the Supreme Court declared it so. Let's pause all that, and that'll actually be the name of the bill, the Pause Act.
Sign me up. Where do I sign? How do we support this? This is the way forward. If you believe in America first, what Chip Roy is talking about here is the way forward. It's 9:52. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Cover Nash. Shane Ring is the guy that can break everything down for you in health insurance in a way that you can understand it. Maybe you're dealing with a lost job, so you lost your coverage. Well, Shane Ring and Cover Nash can get you covered. Maybe you're just sick of your overpriced junk insurance. You're in the right place. With Cover Nash, you can get covered right now, today, with no waiting and no gimmicks. Cover Nash partners with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand new nationwide PPO options with deductibles as low as $250, flat $50 doctor visits, even for specialists, ACA compliant plans with free preventative care, physical colonoscopies, the works, plans for individuals, families, self-employed, even small businesses. It's time to stop overpaying. Call Shane Ring today. Stop waiting. Stop thinking that you're stuck. Shane can get you better health insurance at a better price. Go to covernash.com or call 615-465-0023. Smart Money says that Shane's at his desk right now waiting for your call. 615-465-0023 or find him online, covernash.com.
We've just reached the 2-year mark of the Freddie O'Connell tenure as mayor of the city of Nashville, and one asks oneself, what has he done for this city? Now, look, I've had Freddie on this show, and do I need to tell you yet again that he seems like a nice enough guy? Do I need to? Oh, he seems like a nice enough guy. I'd like to sit down and have a beer with him. You know, my grandma seems like a nice enough lady, but she's dead. I don't want her to be the mayor of Nashville. Just because they're nice people doesn't mean that they're good leaders. Now, Freddie is set to be on this radio show in 3 weeks. November 7th, we have him slated, I think, in the 3 o'clock hour. I was talking to his guy, Alex Apple, about that just several days ago. And we will present all of this to him. Tell me what your accomplishments are as mayor of this city, besides raising taxes, because you've done that twice. Twice.
A road rage incident almost turned deadly in Nashville the other day, and tragedy in Texas involving a mental health episode. Those stories and more here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Sam in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Mason Fleming producing. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. People are either like, Chris, you're on money, or they're like, Chris, you're just hating on Trump.
Wrong.
I love the guy. This is what it pains me. It pains me to have to criticize. It really does.
But if we're the people that can't, if we're not allowed to criticize Trump, who can?
And listen, the administration knows that this was a flub. Make no mistake about it. They've been sending everybody out to clean it up. Scott Bessent went on with Kilmeade, and he was like, well, those guys were coming over here to train American workers. And it's like, okay. But, you know, you talk about the Korean battery plant. It was a tire factory, the one they raided. They were on overstayed visas. They were here illegally. That was cheap labor. That wasn't training. It just wasn't. You got Kristi Noem coming out here saying, guys, yeah, it is happening. And it's a good thing.
What is the administration's position on these visas?
Now, we're going to keep using our visa programs. We're just going to make sure that they have integrity, that we're actually doing the vetting of the individuals who come into this country, that they want to be here for the right reasons, that they're not supporters of terrorists and organizations that hate America. And that's what I think is so remarkable is under the Trump administration, we've sped up our process and added integrity to the visa programs, to green cards, to all of that. But also more people are becoming naturalized under this administration than ever before. More people are becoming citizens because we're not just streamlining and building some processes back into our immigration policies. We're also making sure that these individuals that are coming into our country and get that privilege, that they actually are here for the right reasons.
So which way? I mean, which way do you want to go? Do you want to limit immigration, freeze it the way Chip Roy was talking about? Or do we celebrate it and say, well, we're actually doing way better and this is happening and it's a good thing? I'm more on the Chip Roy side, like freeze all immigration. We have 50 million foreigners in this country through different means. Illegal aliens, H1B visas, you got student visas, you got all sorts of different stuff. What are we doing? Is this the America that you want to create? And if we can't push back on it, who can? It's 10 o'clock, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, world, and all who inhabit it. It's 10 o'clock, and I'm Sam Rutherford with your headlines. Friends of social media food influencer Michael Duarte are at a loss to explain the behavior that led to his death on Saturday. ABC's Jim Ryan says the chef, husband, and father was killed by a Texas sheriff's deputy.
Michael Duarte was in Medina County, west of San Antonio, for a barbecue festival. The initial call to police Saturday was about a disturbance involving a man in a mental health crisis. A report from the Medina County Sheriff says deputies found Duarte armed with a knife and threatening to kill everyone. When he rushed a deputy, the 39-year-old Duarte was shot and killed.
If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health issues or thoughts of suicide, call 988 or text TALK to 741-741. Tennessee's Department of Safety is pushing for a major budget boost to beef up highway patrol amid surging crime-fighting efforts in Memphis, the Tennessee Star reports. The proposed plan calls for $16.7 million in new funding, a nearly 40% jump to hire 139 positions, including 120 troopers, with over 100 headed straight to Memphis. Commissioner Jeff Long says the extra manpower is crucial as about 300 state troopers rotate into the federal Memphis Safe Task Force, pulling resources from elsewhere and leaving gaps statewide. Since launching last month, the task force has racked up 2,501 arrests, over 1,000 felonies, cleared more than 1,000 warrants, and found 100 missing kids. President Trump credits it for slashing serious crime reports by nearly 50%. Governor Bill Lee hints the multi-agency effort could run indefinitely. A shocking road rage incident in South Nashville, WKRN reports, a woman delivering packages allegedly opened fire on another driver during a heated argument. It unfolded Wednesday at Harding Place and Humber Drive when 33-year-old Nicole Douglas, behind the wheel of a white box truck, pulled out a gun and shot multiple times at the victim's vehicle, leaving bullet holes in both doors. Douglas claimed to police she thought the man was reaching for a weapon, but no one was hurt. A witness tailed her to South Perimeter Park Drive, where officers found the gun and shell casings inside the truck. Shockingly, she kept on with her delivery route afterward. Douglas now faces charges of attempted homicide, vandalism, and being a felon in possession of a firearm. She's held on a $75,000 bond. MMPD urges drivers to de-escalate and call 911 instead. And in less shocking local news, the Titans are so bad, fans in Memphis, Knoxville, and Chattanooga will not be able to view Sunday's game on their local affiliate station. Titans writer Paul Kaharski shared a broadcast map to his X page outlining how the Titans will have one of the smallest broadcast radiuses this weekend across the league, second only to the Miami Dolphins, who have to share the state of Florida with two other teams. These are the side effects of being a 1-8 football team. That's the latest news. We've got your weather coming up next. I'm Sam Rutherford, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. I didn't expect this to happen. And I don't think I said his name 3 times.
I didn't hear it.
But Matt Murphy is now in studio. How you doing, Matt?
Hello.
I'm pissing off half the audience, and half the audience thinks that I'm on point.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing, right?
This is what we do.
You know, love me or hate me.
H1B,
listen every day.
H1B visas is what we're talking about.
We're talking about importing more Chinese nationals. Is that what we're doing?
And Indians.
Oh, yeah. We need the Indians, right, for the gas stations and the hotel motel, right? Where are you going to go? Where are the people of Tennessee going to go have their clandestine affairs if they can't find a Indian-run no-tell motel nearby.
I guess people are going to be in favor now. I don't understand why. So we can't criticize Trump on the H1B no talent line.
I said the other day, I don't think Donald Trump's had a very good week. And I said, and you have to always preface it by reminding the Trump supporters that I'm, an escalator guy, but I'm like, stimulus checks, no thank you.
Yep.
600 Chinese students in our American universities, no thank you. Filibuster, I'm iffy on the filibuster, although I can see that issue a little more clearly. But, this is not a good week.
50-year mortgages.
50-year mortgages.
15-year car loan.
Yes, it's not a good. I just don't feel like it's a good week. That doesn't mean I'm not a Trump guy. And yeah, I got the business too.
So why is he doing this? And my other thing is the mainstream media is focusing right now on the Epstein stuff, which I just think is bovine scatology and whatever. I can talk about it later, but they're not focusing on the H-1B visa, which I feel like would be low-hanging fruit to go after Trump. But it feeds into the guys who are feeling politically homeless right now that it's uniparty, two birds, same wing.
Right.
When the left won't go after a clear flaw from the Trump administration.
Right. And look, Donald Trump is a guy that wants to he is in real time brainstorming ideas. So I don't think he's stuck on any of these ideas. I think he just speaks to what comes to his mind about potential solutions that people have talked to him about. And so I don't know that he's, putting these things down in stone necessarily. He's spitballing, some good, some bad. It's okay to say, I don't care for that idea very much.
But do we have enough time to mess around? Because I'm looking at it, it's like Thanksgiving is in 2 weeks, and then it's Christmas, then New Year's, right? Nothing's going to get done between now and then. And then we're in campaign season for a lot of these members of Congress for the midterms. At what point are we running out of runway to take off here?
Well, I would push back on the idea that we can't get anything done in 2026 because I think the way that you get elected in November of 2026 is getting things done as conservative Republicans earlier in the year. And so is the suggestion, I'm not saying you're making it, is the suggestion that we can't push forward on our principled policy positions and ideas because we'll get run out of the ballot box? I mean, is that the suggestion? Is that the Democrats will use our principled policies against us?
No, I think that if we don't get domestic wins, we're going to lose a lot of millennial and Gen Z voters. Not necessarily that they're going to go over to the Democrats, but that they're just going to say, screw it, I'm out.
Well, I would argue you get those domestic wins by continuing to push the ball forward as long as you possibly can up until, Election Day. But, I get it. I mean, but it's funny because we used to talk about, oh, man, the last year of a presidential term, that's a lame duck year because there's an election coming up. And now people start talking about, like, right after an election, you better get this done in 4 months. Otherwise, elections are coming up. I mean, it's a fast-paced world that we live in, I guess. But, no, you just keep pressing forward, keep moving forward. I could be swayed on the filibuster idea it doesn't sway me to tell me, well, the Democrats will do it anyway. Well, you know what the Democrats also want to do? Socialism. Does that mean that we give up and just go to socialism because they're going to do it anyway?
They're doing it anyway. Right. My issue with the filibuster, though, is that if the Democrats get in power, they will get rid of it. Then you got...
But they never have.
But, they didn't last time because of Sinema and Manchin.
Now, I like the compromise position that I heard about yesterday, and that is... put a rule in place where you eliminate the filibuster for spending measures. You can carve out a way where you don't eliminate it entirely, but you eliminate it for matters like a continuing resolution or keeping the government open.
Bills.
Yeah, so that the Democrats don't hold the United States of America hostage like they have. And on the and by the way, my take on the Epstein thing, this is great for Donald Trump, and we need to be announcing it from the rooftops how wonderful this is for Donald Trump. Of all of the individuals that we believe said yes, Donald Trump said no. Of all of the people of influence that Jeffrey Epstein tried to blackmail, we know of one that refused his blackmail. Now, if you want to accuse Donald Trump of not turning him over to the authorities about what he thought he knew versus what he actually knew, that's one thing too. But what we do know is that Donald Trump said, no, I'm not engaging in this. And oh, by the way, I don't want it anywhere near Mar-a-Lago. So I think that's a great thing.
And we also know that they're using it as a weapon against Trump.
Oh, sure.
I mean, because you can go back. I mean, this is pretty far back in history. The year 2024. Do you recall this? This was CNN in 2024, and the Democrats didn't seem to care about this at all.
New details this morning. Hundreds of new pages have been unsealed in a lawsuit connected to convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The victim alleges that former President Clinton pressured Vanity Fair not to run a story on Epstein. The pages also shed new light on how Epstein's victims were recruited and what happened to them. CNN's Gene Cesaris joins us now.
So Clinton crushes the Vanity Fair story.
Mm-hmm.
No interest from the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
ABC had the story on Prince Andrew for how many years?
Mm-hmm.
Crushed by Disney. No interest from Democrats. Now there's interest.
No, it's a Trump thing, right? This is the latest thing. I mean, and you can imagine how many times have they said, "Now we've got him. We got him now." I mean, they've been doing this since 2015.
If they had it, they would use it.
Right. They would have used it during the 4 years. Look, I think that it's skeevy to consider, but I think that most people that ran in millionaire and billionaire circles and had contact with Jeffrey Epstein probably knew that Jeffrey Epstein was a skis.
Yeah.
And they probably felt like, maybe did not know, but felt like Jeffrey Epstein was doing things that would, skeeve out the average American or could borderline be illegal. Did Donald Trump, was he aware of those things? I imagine that he was aware of those things. I don't believe that Donald Trump did anything illegal, nor has there ever been any evidence whatsoever that he did anything wrong. And so the Democrats can continue to play this card all they want, but we know what they're doing. They just had a very bad 40 days. They shut the government down for zero reason, and they got zero out of it. And so they're just trying to change this.
No, they all knew. Remember Cindy McCain, John McCain's wife?
Mm-hmm.
She said this back in, what year was this? I mean, this was years ago.
It hides in plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that was, legal aspect that would go after him. They were.
When Epstein said, and the reason that I say that these emails ultimately exonerate Trump is because when Epstein says that Trump is a dog that won't bark, I don't believe that he's saying that he's not telling on us. What he's saying is we can't get him in a compromising position with an underage girl so that we can then blackmail him for his money.
Yep.
That's what he's telling Ghislaine Maxwell.
So why don't we just release everything?
And that's the big question. I don't understand why. I mean, someone's getting protected, obviously. I mean, I don't know of any other reason.
Do you think it's friends and donors? Do you think that that's what the case may be?
I think there's a lot of lobbyists involved. Who knows? But I would love nothing else than to have the entire thing dumped right now in the laps of the American people. And frankly, I think in a large way, the American people will probably be disappointed in what they see. Disappointed in the sense that I don't know that it's going to implicate the amount of known people that they think that it's going to implicate, but I think a lot of millionaires are involved. I think a lot of financiers are involved. A lot of lobbyist types are involved. A lot of business people are involved whose names we probably don't know, but who have a lot of money and a lot of power to try to squash this type of thing with the names that we do know, and that would be the politicians.
And it's important to point out that some of them probably didn't do anything other than cheat on their wives, and it wasn't that they were with a 15-year-old girl, and that could be baked into the cake too. Even a guy like Massey says it.
Yeah, and as skeevy as that is, it's a distinction with a difference, right? That if you went to Epstein Island and you hooked up with a 30-year-old woman or a 25-year-old woman, that's a big difference than hooking up with a 15-year-old girl. And those guys don't want that out either.
Exactly.
But I mean, we have to recognize that those are two different circumstances. Skeevy, yes. Nasty, sure. All of those things.
Terrible.
And I don't care about protecting those people, but they care about protecting themselves and their legacies and whatever. And so they're probably working to protect that too.
Yeah.
So there you go. But no, it's all about Get Trump. And this is the latest version of Get Trump, and it's going to continue until Donald Trump's no longer president of the United States.
I don't think the Epstein stuff has gas.
We'll be over this in a week.
I think the bigger issue right now is Trump and his base. I think that's you have a lot of young voters that are just going to say, screw it, I'm out.
Well, and what I wonder, and you and I have been having these conversations independent of one another for some time, and that is that there was somewhat of a schism amongst the MAGA base with how we deal with Israel. Let's just broadly how we deal with Israel.
Well, it's not a left versus right issue. It is a generational issue. That the Israel conversation really doesn't border on left versus right now. It borders on youth versus older generations.
Well, here was my reality. So I told this story very briefly on the air. I went over to last Saturday. Eric and I were going to the Auburn-Vandy game with some friends. Eric is an Auburn fan. And so prior to that, I went over to Tin Roof, which is the quote-unquote University of Georgia bar in Nashville, because, all the college teams have one where all the fans gather. So I'm over there. I'm watching the game by myself, waiting for Erica to get here so we can go to the Vandy game. And I get approached by this guy. He sits down and we start talking. He's a 100% Groyper, right? He is all in on Fuentes. And so we have a conversation that leads to a more heated conversation regarding, and what I learned, bottom line, and I can tell you the full conversation, but bottom line, what I learned from this is that what we say and what is said and the nuance of the discussions that are had are not reflected in the people that receive them largely, especially the younger generations. They maybe take the high points out of it, but it does impact them. And I think some of this conversation impacts them in a very, very negative way. All of that to say that is not the top-end discussion about Israel and what we do with money and what we do in terms of allegiance or alliances. What I'm curious about is, moving forward, are enough of those types of people in the conversation now where they simply refuse to associate with other MAGA people that are supportive of Israel just because of their support alone? Not because of support of war, not because of a support of military armaments or materials or even money, but a basic support of Israel. And that's what frightens me. If we don't have just a baseline support of Israel, then we're not supporting democracy in the Middle East, and that could lead to calamity in the Middle East that might ultimately affect us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, my thing was always, I don't think we should be giving money to any other countries while we're $1 trillion.
That's where I'm at.
I mean, that's my basic thing. And I don't care if it's Israel or anyone else. Israel, if you have to do certain things that you have to do to survive, we will understand that, and we will support you as much as we can as a United States of America. But in terms of arms or military stuff, I think that's over. And I think that's where the split is, and I'm very curious where that goes from now.
So when you say that the split, they won't work with the other side over that one topic, is it that the pro-Israel side won't work with, will Ben Shapiro not sit down with Tucker, or will Tucker not sit down with Ben Shapiro?
Well, I think those schisms, those schisms get so personal.
But I use that as figureheads. I'm just saying, I'm not even, but just the sides.
Well, I mean, but I don't understand. Well, here's the way that I would respond to that. I don't understand if we dissolve the money, what more do the anti-Israel folks want? Do you want us not to be friends with Israel? Do you want us to be anti-Israel? Do you want to decide that certain political action committees don't merit the protections of free speech and have to be eliminated? Because I hear all the time that AIPAC is not even close to the most influential PAC in the United States of America. And you don't have to believe me. Look it up. Pharmaceutical industry, there's just so many of them that influence with money more so than AIPAC. But, I'm willing to listen what you want from here on out. But I think the discussion about should we support the war is largely over because the war's over.
True.
Right?
Yep.
So I don't know. That schism exists. I stay away from the influencer battles because I just think
it's WWF sometimes.
I just think it's driven by ego. A lot of it's driven by ego, I feel like. But
both sides.
I'm not here to take over your show and talk about Tucker, but I don't know.
You out on Tucker?
He was the most. I respected Tucker Carlson. A year and a half ago, I would have told you I respected Tucker Carlson more than anybody else in political discourse, and I think he's off the reservation.
Really?
When you're talking, but what he's doing is what. I mean, when you talk in support of Sharia law, you're not talking in support of freedom.
When did he talk in support of Sharia law?
He said, well, everybody talks bad about Sharia law, but you go to a country that initiates Sharia law and you can leave your keys in your Lamborghini and you don't have to worry about your Lamborghini getting stolen. He does this. He's doing the same thing with Sharia law that he did with Russia. It's like, let's highlight the good that comes from a complete and total lack of freedom. Well, I'm sure that Russia is a very safe place, because they kill all the dissidents, right? I'm sure that in places where Sharia law is in place, I'm sure that they don't have a lot of theft. Is that what we want?
No.
And that's the suggestion that he started making. And
I get you. I get you on that. I do think that we need to figure out how to get back to a high trust society. We have lost that in this country.
I don't know that we ever had a high trust society in America.
You don't think so? Leaving your front door unlocked, leaving your back door unlocked? You don't...
I mean, I understand that those things went on in small towns. I don't think that those things ever went on in New York City or Philadelphia or Boston.
Well, that's fair. I mean,
I think we're just a bigger country than that. I think a lot of the tropes are just untrue. I mean, as an example, it's kind of a counterexample. The Wild Wild West was largely not that wild back in the day because people feared getting shot because there was not a lot of law and order,
and
so to speak.
Society is a polite society.
An armed society is a polite society. I mean, how do you get back to that? Well, I think there are ways that you can bring law and order more in the forefront in terms of better law enforcement, better prosecution, better sentencing. But then what comes with that is you got to build more prisons. Are we willing to pay for that? I mean, sure, I think we probably are, but no, I'm not suggesting that we should not strive toward a more orderly, law-abiding society. I'm suggesting that if that is your ultimate goal, then the easiest way to do that is to destroy the freedoms that make America America and decide that you're not going to get to associate in the way that you've been accustomed to. You're not going to get to speak in the way that you're accustomed to, because those types of associations and those types of speech could potentially lead to disorder or lawlessness, and we're not going to have that. If we value that above everything, I mean, we can be North Korea. There's not a lot of law breaking in North Korea. There's also not a lot of electricity in North Korea.
It's very dark.
But this is the discussion and this is the balance, and I'm willing to have that balance. I just, he's kind of lost me in a lot of ways.
But I think that having a reasonable conversation about it is important, and I feel like on either side, there are more people who want to get unreasonable and emotional when it comes to this conversation than anything else.
No, I agree. And
there's just too much shouting down.
And I'm as guilty of it as anybody, but I think there's also a lot of assumptions. Specific to the Israel discussion, I think when you get into a discussion with someone and you're on a different side of that issue than the other person, I think both people in those discussions, in most instances, they make assumptions. One side makes an assumption that the other side is anti-Semitic and they just hate Jews.
Yep.
And the other side makes an assumption that you just have been bought off by the Jews.
Yep.
Right.
That's not a good place to start a conversation.
And that's not a good place to start and try to find common ground.
It doesn't work. Right. Matt Murphy, thanks for stopping by, man. What are you even doing here?
I'm going over to I'm very excited. I'm going over to the Nashville Rescue. In advance of the Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon, we often we sit down and have good conversations with people that have been literally from a salvation standpoint, saved by the rescue mission. And so I get a chance to go over there and talk to a couple of those folks, and we're going to record some of that and play it for you on the Radiothon.
Let's go, man. I'm excited about the Radiothon, Monday, November 24th.
That's right.
It's going to be here before we know it.
That's is that a week? Is that less than
a week?
That's a
week and change.
It's a little over a week. So very exciting.
See what I'm saying?
Thank you for letting me stop by. Did you see my new? I stole this.
Yeah, you got a megaphone.
Did it? Has everyone seen the megaphone?
Yeah, you scared Dan with leaving it in there.
I was using it to shout at Dan as he walked down the hallway.
Were you?
Yeah, the other day.
Dan Mandis.
Also, you were belly aching about the spray when I saved you from getting COVID from Mandis.
I think COVID would have been better than the spray. It was everywhere. I didn't know what it was. No, I blamed Amanda's. And I think ultimately it was Mandis's fault. You just got caught in the vortex of, you got mandized. And so you were trying to salvage whatever, civilized response you could salvage out of it. And I get that. I mean, I understand that. But thank you for trying to save our lives.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Even in the midst of me screaming and yelling about you.
You're
you were
welcome.
trying to save our lives.
This is what I do. I care too much. I'm giving Mason a heart attack. So let me jump into this.
The
commercial.
emotional rock of the radio station is Chris Hand, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at USS. Let me ask you some questions. See, I got questions for you. Are your floors sagging? That's not a good look. Cracks showing up in the drywall? That's a blemish that you need to fix before family comes over for the holidays. Doors that won't shut right? These aren't just little problems around your house. These are red flags. These are warning signs. And they're telling you that there could be something wrong with your foundation. This is an issue. A solid foundation is going to be the backbone of a strong home. And when it weakens, it's only going to get worse. Surprise, it's not going to fix itself. So you got to call the best. You got to call USS. These guys have been doing it since 1994, keeping Tennessee homes dry, stable, and secure the way they should be. They use American-made adjustable steel supports built to last, backed with a transferable warranty. From I-beams to custom crawl space repairs, these guys are going to fix it right the first time. So when it comes to your home, don't kick the can down the road. Call USS, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or find them online, USSTN.com.
Good morning, world, and all who inhabit it. It's 10:30, and I'm Sam Rutherford with your headlines. Legal fireworks in New York. CBS News reports lawyers for former FBI Director James Comey and State Attorney General Letitia James are battling to block Trump attorney Lindsay Halligan from representing a co-defendant in their ongoing defamation case. In Manhattan federal court filings, they argue Halligan's recent appointment as a special assistant U.S. attorney in Florida creates a irreconcilable conflict, claiming she now works for the very government Comey and James are suing. Halligan, who's rep Trump in multiple cases, was tapped last week by the Justice Department. Her team fires back. The role is limited, part-time, and unrelated, calling the motion a desperate delay tactic. The judge has yet to rule, but will hear the counsel today. Their underlying suit stems from Trump's 2023 social media posts labeling Comey and James as, quote, political monsters amid investigations into his business. Trial is set for early 2026. And Pat McAfee is firing back at liberal critics triggered by his recent interview with President-elect Donald Trump, according to Outkick. The sports media star hosted Trump on his special Veterans Day show from Paris Island, sparking outrage from the usual suspects who slammed the sit-down as a betrayal. But McAfee isn't backing down. In a no-holds-barred response, he told detractors, "Got a lot of people telling me they're never going to watch my show again. I would like to let you know. F you." He revealed his team reached out to former President Barack Obama for the same slot, but couldn't make it work, proving he's open to all sides. Outkick's Clay Travis points out the hypocrisy. Imagine what a different story it would be if McAfee had Obama on the show and not Trump. He would be getting universal praise right now. He'd be nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. McAfee, independent from ESPN's Leash, says he doesn't care about the backlash. It's a bold stand from a guy who's bigger than the network. And in local news, Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr is now under criminal investigation, WSMV4 reports, by the Tennessee Comptroller's Office for alleged ethics violations. The probe, confirmed Tuesday, centers on Carr's use of county resources and potential conflicts of interest. Sources tell WSMV4 the investigation began after a whistleblower complaint flagged questionable spending and favoritism in county contracts. Carr, elected in 2022, has not been charged, but the comptroller says the case is active and involves, quote, serious allegations. In a statement, Carr calls the claims, quote, politically motivated and vows full cooperation. I have always acted in the best interest of Rutherford County residents, he said. The mayor's office said that no taxpayer funds were misused. The investigation could take months. Those are the latest headlines. We've got your weather coming up next. I'm Sam Rutherford, WTN News.
We've just reached the 2-year mark of the Freddie O'Connell tenure as mayor of the city of Nashville, and one asks oneself, what has he done for this city? Now, look, I've had Freddie on this show. And do I need to tell you yet again that he seems like a nice enough guy? Do I need to? Oh, he seems like a nice enough guy. I'd like to sit down and have a beer with him. You know, my grandma seems like a nice enough lady, but she's dead. I don't want her to be the mayor of Nashville. Just because they're nice people doesn't mean that they're good leaders. Now, Freddie is set to be on this radio show in 3 weeks. November 7th, we have him slated, I think, in the 3 o'clock hour. I was talking to his guy, Alex Apple, about that just several days ago. And we will present all of this to him. Tell me what your accomplishments are as mayor of this city, besides raising taxes, because you've done that twice.
1038 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Ham. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Mason Fleming is producing. I think Sam's wrapped up in the newsroom. He's still back there. Joan she skedaddles way sooner than Sam does.
She's ready to go, but she's going camping.
I like to hang out with the boys, you know.
With the boys.
Squad up. A couple people saying that they, Jason texted and he said, I love it when you and Uncle Murphy bring us all together for a fireside chat.
Uncle Murphy.
Uncle
Official
Murphy.
Unk status.
Unk. Big Unk Murph.
Big Unk energy.
Mason and I were talking off air. He looks like Marty McFly that got trapped in the past.
You'll have to go to YouTube and rewind a little bit if you want to see the snazzy vest.
You look like the brawny towel guy.
Yeah.
Somebody else was wondering, 4460 was like, is Matt sitting on the floor? Did you guys notice that?
Chair is low.
It was
low
low
this morning.
We have been playing a game of musical chairs in here because for whatever reason, the one chair that doesn't squeak has like an arm that just falls off randomly. And then all the other chairs squeak and are about 3 feet lower.
Yeah. I've been tempted. I brought in WD-40 a couple of weeks ago to fix these squeaky doors, and it helped a little bit.
Well, do you know how like that one chair with the arm falling off, how it had tape all around it?
Yeah.
I did that as a producer like 3.5 years ago.
Yeah. I was like, the chair I'm in currently was the replacement to the one that fell apart because the back fell off.
Yes, I remember that.
It's still bad. It's still bad. We can't sit up high on this chair anymore.
Yeah,
all we want for Christmas is somewhere to sit. That's it.
I don't mind standing. It's not bad.
It's not a big ask. It's not a big ask. Do you think Cumulus could do that for us?
Maybe.
No.
Well, then the chairs would get here. Then it would be a month before they were opened out of the box, another week before they were assembled, and another 2 weeks before they were wheeled in here.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Hey, the studio looks cool.
Anyway, this is why Joan gets out of here fast. She knows she'll get into trouble if she hangs out for too long.
Just had to throw it in there a little quick.
All right. What do you guys want to talk about? You want to talk about Epstein? You want to talk about the state of the left? Let's talk about the state of the left.
I feel like those go hand in hand right now.
Listen, we've been critical of Donald Trump. I think he deserves it. But we also need to be equally as critical about the left. They're in shambles. We're not the only political party in the United States right now dealing with friction. Make no mistake about it. The Dems are not in a better place than we are. And I think that that's important to highlight. While we have these internal problems going on in-house and we have to resolve them if we want to keep winning, the left has just as many internal problems, external problems as well. They're all pissed off behind the scenes. AOC, they're saying Chuck is frantic behind the scenes because AOC is publicly gunning for his Senate seat in 2028. She was asked about that on CNN, and these are the comments that she made publicly that have Chuck Schumer's camp in a bit of a tizzy.
I think it's important that we understand that this is not just about Senator Schumer, but that this is about the Democratic Party. Senator Schumer, there's no one vote that ended this shutdown. We are talking about a coordinated effort of 8 senators with the knowledge of Leader Schumer voting to break with the entire Democratic Party in exchange for nothing.
In exchange for nothing. For nothing. You know, it was actually revealed that there was 14 days into the shutdown. A lot of these Democrat senators wanted to end it. And Schumer said no. Schumer gathered them all in a back room. He said no. He dragged his feet for whatever reason. I think the only reason that makes sense is that he's afraid of being primaried by AOC. The Democrat Party is moving way further left, and we need to be ready for that. We also need to take some action. Some action is being taken against the radicals of the left wing. Did you hear this story? California governor, maybe you've heard of him, Gavin Newsom.
Rings a bell.
He hosts the Gavcast.
Ah, the alleged.
He's a legendary podcaster, part-time governor of California.
Oh.
Do you hear what happened to his chief of staff?
No, what happened?
Arrested.
Good. I mean, what?
She got busted. She got pinched. Conspiracy to commit bank fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States and obstruct justice, subscribing to false tax returns, and making false statements.
Didn't learn from Pelosi.
Yikes. Well, Pelosi didn't get caught.
That's what I'm saying. She didn't learn from her.
I have this awesome idea. Social Security, we're going to get back to the Gavin Newsom story in a second. I have the New York Post article. Don't worry. Social Security, we have big issues.
Correct.
Nancy Pelosi is going to have free time. I couldn't think of something that would garner more bipartisan support than letting Nancy Pelosi invest the American Social Security money.
She knows the numbers.
Who says no? Every Republican would sign up for that. Every Democrat would be in on that. Do you understand how rich we would be if we let Nancy Pelosi manage the portfolio?
I'm here for it. Dude, I'm just worried about embezzlement.
We'd be getting ribeyes with those Social Security checks. We'd be eating caviar, the fancy ice cream. We wouldn't get the Kroger brand. We'd be going for Bluebell. You know what I'm saying?
Ben & Jerry's, stack on stack.
The liberals would get Ben & Jerry's.
Yeah, that's fair.
A little Cherry Garcia. But who says no to that? Does anybody say no to that? Nobody would say no to that. California Governor Gavin Newsom, his ex-chief of staff, has been arrested, accused of stealing $225,000. That seems low. My grandmother, Meme Hand, we love Meme. She used to say, Chris, if you're going to do it, you go big. And I feel like this is like the same kind of thing. Like, why didn't you go bigger than that?
Yeah, that's kind of low numbers.
It feels like small potatoes.
Low ball.
California governor's former chief of staff was arrested Wednesday, charged with plotting with accomplices to swipe $225,000 from an inactive political campaign and funnel it straight into a friend's pocket, federal prosecutors announced Wednesday. So she wasn't even keeping the whole $225 for herself. She's dividing that up with accomplices. That's dumb. Dana Williamson is her name, 53 years old, now facing a sweeping 23-count federal indictment, charging her with conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud, defrauding the United States, obstructing justice, filing false tax returns, and lying to the authorities, according to U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of California. Today's charges are the result of 3 years of relentless investigative work in partnership with the IRS criminal investigation and the U.S. Attorney's Office. FBI Sacramento Special Agent in charge, Sid Patel, said in a statement, the FBI will remain vigilant in its efforts to uncover fraud and corruption, ensuring our government systems are held to the highest standards. Prosecutors said Williamson, who is Newsom's top aide from 2022 to December of 2024, like this is recent, right? This is not too far removed. So Williamson plotted with a registered lobbyist, Greg Campbell, a federal employee, Sean McCluskey, and 2 others, 5 total, to siphon money from a dormant campaign account into McCluskey's personal use between February 2022 and September 2024. So you're splitting $225,000 with 5 people. What's the napkin math on that? It's not a lot of money. And you would have to imagine that she's making a lot of money doing what she does. To risk it all for $45,000, and that's if the split was even, right?
Yeah.
To risk it all for $225,000. I don't understand why these people in these high positions go for quick money. Like, why are you doing this? It's like the Major League ball players, baseball and basketball. I called that, by the way, after the basketball cheating scandal. I said baseball players are going to get pinched next.
Yep.
We called that early on the Chris Hand Show because it's just so easy for them to cheat. If the bet is you throw a ball instead of a strike for your first pitch, like how do you not go for that? And they were doing it for like $6,000, $10,000, like stupidly low as you're making hundreds of thousands, millions in some cases playing a professional sport. Anyway, I don't understand why these people do this. They interrupt good money for quick money, and it's never worth it. The idle account allegedly belonged to former U.S. Congressman Xavier Becerra, who McCluskey, also named in the indictment, had served as chief of staff for several years, the Sacramento Bee reported. The indictment alleges that while McCluskey was Becerra's chief of staff, Williamson funneled $10,000 per month into an account he controlled, disguised as faulty payments to his wife after her accused co-conspirator expressed a desire to have more money while working for the former congressman. Living in California is expensive. Let's be honest. Prosecutors said the funds were routed through multiple business entities, falsely labeled as pay for a no-show job that did not exist. The court filings also allege that Williamson created fake contracts to obtain COVID loans for a company, filed false tax returns claiming over $1 million in personal expenses, including private jet travel, luxury hotels, home furnishings, designer handbags as business deductions. She's also accused of sharing government information with a company involved in litigation with the Golden State and then lying to the FBI about it, according to the indictment. Before joining Newsom's inner circle, Williamson ran her own consulting firm, Grace Public Affairs, and served as a senior aide to a string of California heavyweights, including Governors Jerry Brown, Gray Davis, and more, the Sacramento Bee reported. Ms. Williamson no longer serves in this administration. While we are still learning the details of the allegations, the governor expects all public servants to uphold the highest standards of integrity, a Newsom spokesperson told the Post. That's what we got from the Newsom camp. I checked the governor's press office Twitter account. No jokes about it. Nothing. They say at a time when the president is openly calling for his attorney general to investigate his political enemies, it is especially important to honor the American principle of being innocent until proven guilty in a court of law by a jury of one's peers. Newsom is not mentioned in the court filings. Williamson is expected to appear in a federal courthouse in Sacramento yesterday afternoon. If convicted, she faces up to 20 years and up to $250,000 in fines. Congratulations. What an idiot. What an absolute idiot.
I was like, maybe you're just pretending to be dumb. Now I don't think it's an act.
No. On the way, let's talk about more California politics. You want to do more California? Who doesn't?
I mean, it's an easy punching bag.
So Nancy Pelosi's kid is running for a state Senate seat that was occupied by Scott Wiener. Wiener is trying to angle his way into Pelosi's congressional seat.
Interesting.
We'll talk about Pelosi's kid. We'll talk about Wiener. He was confronted by a black lesbian woman who was confronted in a gym locker room by a man, and she brought this grievance to Scott Wiener. I have the audio. She calls him out in front of everyone. She gets shouted down by the crowd in attendance, and then she calls them out as well. It's honestly, it's poetry.
It's wild.
We'll bring it to you on the way. 10:50. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You may be having family over for the holidays. If you are, get your heater maintained the right way, the Busy Bee way, before they get here. It would be so embarrassing if the heat went out while family's in town. Don't let that happen to you. You know what else would be embarrassing? If the toilets stopped working. If the main line got clogged. Are you dealing with this issue? Well, they have a special for you. It's the 93 or free main line opening special. They'll clear your main line for just $93 or it's free. This is a November only deal. It's a great way to keep your home running smooth before the holidays hit. And I love this. If you got a favorite Thanksgiving Day recipe, share it. Share it with Busy Bee. Spoil grandma's secret sweet potato pie recipe. And you can win $2,000 off a new HVAC system. The runner-up is going to get $1,000. Winners are going to be announced on Facebook Live on November 21st, but I don't want to bury the lead. 93 are free, mainline opening special. That's happening right now. Don't wait if that drain's backed up. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com. So we got Gavin Newsom out here doing his absolute best to try and intimidate MAGA.
I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these in the mouth.
You know, it's funny. I can't think of one person that's actually intimidated by Gavin Newsom. Okay. I stand corrected. That Chinese kid looked pretty intimidated. Pete Hegseth speaking earlier. They've gathered all of the top generals in the entire world, brought them to Quantico and said, stop being fat and gay. Maybe I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's generally the message that we're getting.
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. We are done with that shit. Standards must be uniform, gender neutral, and high. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign.
Stop being so fat and so gay. Let's focus on the mission. If you can do the job, you're welcomed here. No matter your sexual orientation or your skin color, but we're getting back to merit.
An ammonia leak in Oklahoma causing some evacuations. Also, a House vote on the Epstein files may be in the near future. We'll have those stories and more coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Jay Harper in the newsroom. What's up, Jay? How you been, man?
Hey, hadn't seen you in a while, Chris.
I know. Glad to hear you, man. Mason Fleming producing. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'm reading your texts, and you guys, you never disappoint. Tom texted in, said, my police friends say, whatever they agree they stole, double it. That sounds about right. And then Dave, my favorite Hebrew, he's Hebrew, but he's my Hebrew. You know what I mean?
Hebrew.
He's my Hebrew. He said, I made the comment, Gavin Newsom's chief of staff, she's been arrested. They were stealing money. Classic. But I said, why do these people do this? And Dave texted and he said, these folks spend themselves into oblivion, like tons of other people. They're one paycheck away from disaster, but government folks, especially libs, think they can get away with it. Facts. And then I got another text, 6766. He said, the Gavcast? How bleeping bleep. So
really?
Yeah. I think it's important to point out, I came up with that name. Because I thought it was funny.
Which it is.
It's hilarious.
It's great.
Podcast host and part-time governor Gavin Newsom, host of the Gavcast. I don't even know what he calls it. What does he call it? Like Weird Conversations or something?
It's like, I think it's Now with Gavin Newsom or something like that.
Now?
Something like that. It's something dumb.
Now with Gavin Newsom.
All right, I'll taint our searches. I'll look it up.
Look it up. mess up your algorithm. I don't want to do it to myself. I don't understand. Nobody watches his podcast. They had a big thing on Prop 50 with Barack Obama, and it got like 4,000 views. And like, I'm fully aware that we don't. What's it called?
This is Gavin Newsom.
So dumb. So I'm fully aware that the governor is, our views aren't necessarily, beaten down the wall. That's why we need you to like and subscribe to YouTube, right? But we also aren't the governor of California and didn't have the first black president on as a guest.
Yeah. You know what his best video is right now?
It's the one with Charlie Kirk,
It's the one
isn't
with
it?
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, it's the one with Charlie Kirk. Everybody knew that. People were mad at him for that interview, too.
They'll get over it.
We were talking about California. That led us to Democrats and Nancy Pelosi, who I'm of the opinion she should be managing Social Security in this country. She's going to have free time. Let's make some money. Who says no?
Get that woman a bottle.
Yeah. Let's get her some charts and get her going. Why? If we're going to have insider trading, why don't we have it benefit the American people?
Yeah. Help it grow everybody's pockets.
Like, I just don't understand this. All right. So Pelosi's kid has launched a state Senate bid. Have you seen Pelosi's kid?
No, I hadn't. I didn't know she had kids. I knew, but
I'm gonna put a picture up on the screen. Okay, look at this picture of these ladies. Tell me that doesn't look like the two craziest women you've ever seen. It's Nancy Pelosi and her daughter.
Jeez, Nancy's glare is burrowing holes into my eyes.
Way too much white in the eyes, right? Like, have you ever seen the eyeball thing online where it's like you're dealing with a psychopath depending on how much white you see in the eyes and where you see it?
Yeah,
they both fit the bill. They both fit the bill. Christine Pelosi has entered the race for California State Senate. She launched her campaign on Monday. She is going to be succeeding outgoing Senator Scott Wiener. Wiener is trying to land a seat in Congress, the one that is currently held by outgoing House Leader Nancy Pelosi. It's musical chairs in California. A lot of people thought Christine Pelosi was going to go for Nancy's seat, but she's not. She's going to go for the state Senate first. Scott Wiener, though, he's going to get elected to Nancy Pelosi's seat. I'm convinced of it. There's no way that you can tell me otherwise. We'll talk about Scott Wiener, and we'll play you this confrontation that he had to deal with one of his voters at like a town hall kind of thing they had going on. When we get back, it's a long clip, but it's worth it. This woman had been followed into a locker room at a gym by a man in a dress. And she said, "Mr. Wiener, what are you going to do about it?" He said, "Well, trans women are women." Calamity ensues after that. We'll bring you the audio on the way. It's 11 o'clock. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 11 a.m. I'm Jay Harper in for Ken Weaver. Don't freak out. Ken will be back on Monday. I've got your full forecast also coming up here shortly. Well, earlier this morning, I-24 westbound near Clarksville, it was closed off as Highway Patrol investigated a deadly crash. The Clarksville Police Department reported that a vehicle had crashed into the river from I-24 westbound near mile marker 9. That happened about 7 o'clock this morning. And the interstate, it was closed for hours and traffic was diverted onto exit 11. THP, they're confirming the crash is deadly. No other information right now. 24 westbound is open, but the backup is still considerable. A large part of one Oklahoma town's under evacuation orders after a pneumonia leak last night. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
Outside a hotel just off historic Route 66 in Weatherford, Oklahoma, firefighters responded at around 10 p.m. to reports of people suffering burning eyes and breathing difficulty.
When they arrived, they did find a tanker truck there that was leaking and immediately found people that were coming out of the immediate area in respiratory distress.
Weatherford Fire Chief Mike Carlin said says 36 people were hospitalized and that around 500 people in the town of 12,000 have been evacuated.
Now in D.C., a long-awaited House vote on a release of the Epstein files appears to be in the near future, with 218 signatures on a petition to force a roll call on the floor. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has the latest.
After unsuccessfully applying pressure on a handful of GOP colleagues to keep their names off a petition that would force a vote, Speaker Mike Johnson says he'll put the Epstein files bill on the floor next week. It could pass the House, but even if it does, there's no guarantee it would be put to a vote in the Senate. And even if it passed both houses, there's no guarantee President Trump would sign it.
That is the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It's 11:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Jay Harper's in the newsroom. Mason Fleming is producing. You guys on the phone lines and the text line and in the YouTube chat. Love it when you join the show. 615-737-9986. If you're watching us on YouTube, Super Talk TV, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, wherever you are, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the share button. Help us share the show. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. If you want 2026, which is going to be here soon, to be the biggest year for the radio station, helping us grow that digital footprint is a huge, huge deal. It just is. We can tell whoever wants to come on, man, the antenna goes from Kentucky to Alabama, and that's great. It's awesome. It's a huge, huge antenna, and we are blessed by that. But if you tell somebody, well, we got 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, that holds a lot of weight too. So help us do that.
Because that's not just Alabama. That's countrywide. We've had people listen from England, which is
everywhere. And we don't necessarily want them.
Not necessarily.
But we appreciate it anyway.
Yeah. We're talking about their stuff sometimes.
I actually do have an England story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the lightning round.
Ooh.
That's on the way. That's on the way. We're talking about Nancy Pelosi. She should be managing Social Security. Do it for the country, Nancy. We're talking about her daughter, Christine Pelosi. Is it Christine Pelosi? She not married? Yeah, it's Christine Pelosi. Is she married, or did she not take her husband's last name? That would be such a Pelosi thing to do, wouldn't it?
No, absolutely.
Is Christine Pelosi married? Hang on one second. I don't
ruin your algorithm for that one.
I'll ruin mine. Is she married? Yeah, she is married. She just didn't take his last name.
That's a very Pelosi thing to do.
It's so Pelosi.
Can't believe him.
I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I'm not against it, but he better have taken her name, or...
I'm anti-hyphen, and I think that you should take the man's last name.
I think you need to both be in agreement on what last name you take.
You shouldn't. No.
The only time it should be, I think the only time going towards the woman's last name, if it's a family full of daughters.
No, I don't agree.
I don't know.
I'm old-fashioned.
What if it's a cool last name, though? I don't know what dictates as a cool last name. I've not run into one, but...
When my daughters get married, they should assume the name of the man that they're marrying. Not... They shouldn't continue to be the Hands. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think in like politics, like the Pelosi's are in, keeping that name recognition, I think also helps carry them some.
Oh, so she did it for selfish reasons,
Probably.
for power. All right, got it.
They're Pelosi's. Come on.
And so Christine Pelosi's running for state senate. She's running for Scott Wiener's seat. And in her announcement, she it's hilarious. So she said that she is going to be fighting for consumer rights, gun violence survivors, immigrants, and women's rights. This is why I think it's hilarious, because the guy that she's replacing can't even tell you what a woman is. Scott Wiener was the state senator. He's had some questionable legislation in the past, and he got confronted the other night on this "what is a woman" issue by Tish Hyman. Now, Tish is she has the Twitter account Listen to Tish. She posted this video herself. Tish happens to be a black lesbian woman. So, let's start there. Tish found herself in a situation at a gym where a man followed her into the locker room. I just think it's funny that Nancy Pelosi's daughter Christine's going to be fighting for women's rights, and this guy, Scott Wiener, who she's going to be replacing, can't define what a woman is, because he was asked by Tish, what are you going to do to protect women? This exchange has gone super viral. It's a bit longer, but we'll play it, we'll stop it, we'll talk about it.
Senator Wiener, as the only black lesbian here, can I please ask you a question, because I flew here to do that? Yeah. Okay. As a lesbian woman who was attacked in the women's locker room at Gold's Gym this week by a self-identifying trans woman with a documented history of domestic violence, I'm deeply concerned about women's safety in female-only spaces. What would you say to women who are seeking assurance that their safety will be protected from men who, by California law, can self-ID as women in women-only spaces, sir? Please tell me.
So let me paint the scene for you in case you're not watching on Super Talk TV and you don't have the benefit of the video. It is a room full of liberals who you can see the look on their face. They don't know how to react to this. It's believe all women. When you're going through the Victim Olympics, she checks a lot of boxes. She's black. She's lesbian. We have to listen to her. But she's railing against trans women. There is not one person in the audience of what does that look like? Maybe 100, 200 people, maybe. Not one person that looks comfortable to be in there at this very moment. And she says, I've been in this locker room. I was attacked by a man who identifies as a woman. What are you going to do to protect women, sir?
Yeah, so we want, everyone to be safe. And we also know that, we have trans people, both men and women, who are men and women. So if you're a trans women or women.
Senator, you've done great things with the bills you've passed with the housing. I've read a lot of your bills, and like you said, there are bills that need to be opened up, and I'm telling you now, millions of women across America are being harassed and sexually assaulted in locker rooms. I'm a lesbian black woman. I'm not transphobic. I'm not homophobic. And I do respect a lot of the things you've done. But I do see a lot of these bills that you've passed that are dangerous for women and young children. And I understand that you're trying to be on a level playing field. And I'm here to represent my community because I hear a lot of things about my community in these bills. And I'm telling you as a woman, first and foremost, that this is dangerous and we need your help because you're in the office, you're going to go in the Polisky spot. I want to support you. I have millions of people behind me watching this right now. And we want to know, are you going to protect women? Not trans women, women, trans women are different things. Women. Listen, we need to protect women's safety. I was assaulted. Women are women.
I love how... Whoa. Hold on there, fella. Hold on. That penis doesn't make that woman any less of a woman. How dare you? How dare you? Now, she's being very political, this lady, Tish, this black lesbian. She said, listen, you've done some great things. Let's talk about Scott Wiener. He helped decriminalize loitering, protecting pimps and enabling sex traffickers. He allowed convicted pedophiles to not register as sex offenders if the victim was over age 14 and there was a 10-year or less age difference. He allowed men to transfer into women's prisons if they self-identify as women's. No guardrails to transfers allows predators to game the system. We all know that. He reduced the penalty for knowingly spreading AIDS without informing the other party of infected status. Senator, I know you've passed some good bills. He made California a sanctuary state, helped make California a sanctuary state for child sterilization and gender mutilation. He co-authored a bill that would make affirming gender identity part of health, safety, and welfare of a child, which then allows courts to remove custody should a parent object to social or medical transition. And he ended mandated reporting by healthcare providers to report victims of abuse to police unless a gun was involved. Senator, I know you've done some good things. Okay. I think she's being political. I think she's trying to just have this conversation. But when she says trans women are not women, then you get the white knight in the back. Whoa. Slow down. But Tish doesn't take it. These other guys are fighting the battle for Wiener. You understand what's happening here, right? Like, they don't want the senator to be in an uncomfortable position. So that's probably one of his staffers that are speaking up and defending this for him.
Women, listen, we need to protect women's safety. I was assaulted. Women are women. I was assaulted. No, they are not. They are men. I was assaulted by men. He broke his wife's jaw so bad she needed reconstructive surgery. I'm a lesbian. I'm not transphobic and I'm black. So if there's another black woman in here who wants to tell me how they feel, please join in. But
I love the energy. Excuse me. Sir, you're white. I'm a black woman. I love it when they use these categories against their own because it's hilarious. Like, we all could have seen this coming. But she's got a good point. No, this is not a woman. He broke a woman's jaw so bad she needed reconstructive surgery. But you want him in here with our wives and daughters? No. And then I love it. She says, listen, white man. I'm not here listening. If there's another black woman here that wants to talk to me, that's fine. Spoiler alert, it doesn't look like there's another black woman in attendance. I'm just judging from the crowd. I'm looking at a crowd shot. It looks mostly elderly white liberals, which is fine. But she's not backing down. He broke his wife's jaw so bad she needed reconstructive surgery. How dare you?
He broke his wife's jaw so bad she needed reconstructive surgery. I'm a lesbian. I'm not transphobic and I'm black. So if there's another black woman in here who wants to tell me how they feel, please join in. But all of you are not. And I don't know who you are, what you are, but I'm a lesbian, and I'm telling you right now, men are harassing women in the locker room.
Let's let him answer the question.
I'm just telling you, since y'all want to woo.
No, just
yeah, don't be wooing at me. Don't woo. And then the moderator says, well, let's just let the senator answer the question. Okay. Everybody's calming down. Calm down, everybody. Calm down. Let's let the senator answer the question.
Now I'm done. And by the way, I respect what you have done. I just want to let you know that.
Let's give the senator the opportunity.
I'm done.
I appreciate your point of view.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry that you were harassed,
Multiple times.
and I appreciate you talking about it. I think we need to protect the safety of all women, and that obviously that's incredibly important. And I also know that trans women are also brutalized in this country. So women and cisgender women are brutalized in this country, and we have to protect the safety of all women.
You're missing the mark here, Senator. You're completely missing the mark. This woman said she was assaulted by a man who broke his wife's jaw so bad she needed reconstructive surgery, and you're still falling back on trans women or women. What are you doing? What are these liberals doing? It blows my mind that they don't see the ridiculousness that is this conversation. Even when confronted with it, he can't admit that having a penis makes you a man. We're going to protect everybody. But you're not. Do you understand that? By letting men go into these locker rooms, you are making it less safe for women. Not men who are wearing a costume. Women.
Women. We cannot be raped in the bathrooms by men that want to say they're women. They're not women. They're not women. I'm leaving. It's okay, but I'm not going to take it. I am leaving because you know what? You guys are not protecting women. You're doing a lot. The bills that you're passing for the law, I read a lot of them. They're great. But this things with the trans, it's not right.
Thank you very much.
Again, I would push back on the bills that he passed being great. You know, decriminalizing loitering so that we can enable sex trafficking. Not a good look, Scott Wiener. Allowing convicted pedophiles to not have to register as sex offenders if the victim was over the age of 14 and there was a 10-year or less age difference. Not exactly a great thing. Allowing men to transfer into women's prisons. Come on, what are we doing? You've done some great things, Senator. He honestly hasn't. He just hasn't. That's a demonstrably false statement. She leaves on her own accord. She wasn't kicked out. And people there said, no, you can stay, to their credit. She wasn't forcibly removed, like we've seen in some cases. But the way she says, you've done some good things. I've read your bills. You made California a sanctuary state for kids to get their bits chopped off. We've seen firsthand what that does. We had Jeff Younger in here a couple weeks ago. He lost his kids in a custody battle. His wife fled to California to do just that. Sterilize and transition one of his sons against his will. It's a great interview. It's worth the listen. It's on the YouTube page, my interview with Jeff Younger. But this guy is not a good guy. This is the guy that's going to be replacing Nancy Pelosi. They're going to vote him in, too. Make no mistake about it. That's basically baked into the cake. This is California. Nobody was offended with anything other than the black lesbian woman speaking up. They're not offended with the bills that Scott Wiener has passed. That's part and parcel for living in a progressive state. Again, this guy co-authored a bill where if you don't affirm the gender identity of your kid, that's abuse. You could lose custody of your kids. He hasn't done anything great. And he's going to bring more radical policies to California, if you can get more radical. Just wait. If you think it can't get worse, wait until you start hearing the left talk about MAPS. That's a code for minor attracted person. They all do it. I mean, Katie Porter's running for governor in California, and she said that should be a protected status. MAPS. We call them pedophiles around here. We call them pedophiles. No. It's going to get even crazier in California. But it was quite the exchange going viral online. If you missed any of it or you want to see the actual video, see the reactions on the faces of the people in the room, it's on the YouTube channel. Just rewind a little bit. 11:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The longest government shutdown in U.S. history has come to an end, but not everyone is happy with a provision in the funding bill. We'll have that and more coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 11:25, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Better Water LLC brings you the show. We love those guys. Mason Fleming's producing. He's all right.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome. I had a couple people asking me on the text line about that Katie Porter clip because I mentioned, wait, just wait. Things can absolutely get worse. You will live to see untold horrors that you could have never possibly imagined. And I said, Katie Porter's running for governor in California. I don't know if she's going to win. I mean, she's torpedoed her own campaign, but what she said in 2022 is really representative of what a lot of Democrats think. And I'll play you the clip. She was talking about anti-LGBTQ violence, which is really rude. She left out the IA2S+, which is just a bigoted thing to do. It's just, that should be disqualifying in California right there. It's not. This should be disqualifying everywhere in this country. And anybody that's running against Katie Porter should be playing this clip over and over and over again, because I don't know how any sane person can listen to this and think, oh, yeah, I'll vote for that. Again, she's talking about anti-LGBTQ violence, and she says that pedophilia is an identity. Oh, hang on, let me...
Pedophile, it is alleging that a person is...
Let me start that from the jump. Here you go.
This allegation of groomer and pedophile, it is alleging that a person is criminal somehow and engaged in criminal acts merely because of their identity, their sexual orientation, their gender identity.
Did you hear that? Groomers, pedophiles, that's their identity. You stupid bigot. What are you doing? This is a serious candidate for governor of California. 2022, she made those comments. Don't think she's the only Democrat that thinks that. Again, I can go back to Scott Wiener. He actually decriminalized it if you want to have sex with a 14-year-old, as long as the age difference is no more than 10 years. You don't have to register as a sex offender in California because of Scott Wiener, the guy that's going to replace Nancy Pelosi. This woman's running for governor of the state. She's like, pedophilia and groomers, that's just a gender identity.
This allegation of groomer and pedophile, it is alleging that a person is criminal somehow and engaged in criminal acts merely because of their identity, their sexual orientation, their gender identity.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. This is the current state of the left in 2025. This is why we have to beat the Democrats no matter what. We cannot let them regain control in the midterms. We've seen what they're willing to do, the lengths that they're willing to go, the violence that they bring, and we see what they want to do to our kids. Look at California. This party is demonic and evil. And that's not even just a talking point. That's the reality. They shoot at ICE agents. They killed Charlie Kirk. They want your kids to be transgender for everybody. They think that pedophilia is a sexual orientation. She said this in public. She said this on C-SPAN. Imagine how many Democrats believe this in private. It's gross. It's evil. We cannot take our foot off the gas in this country. We are fighting a spiritual war. Which side do you want to be on? I know where you're at, but this is just another example of that. This is an older example, but it's insane. It's all insane with the left. We can never let them regain power in this country. We have to do everything to keep it going. Fetterman was talking about this the other day. He said that he was on, I think this was on CNN. He's on CNN, and he's like, no, he's talking to Dana Bash. He's like, no, the left is far more violent than the right. She was shocked, stunned by this. Couldn't believe him. I'll bring you that clip when we kick off the lightning round after the headlines with Jay Harper, which starts right now on Super Talk.
Good morning. It's 11:30, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll get you a full forecast here shortly. President Trump last night signing a funding bill that ended the longest government shutdown in American history. It comes after the House approved the compromise bill passed by the Senate. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
Hundreds of thousands of federal workers are being asked to return to work. They'll soon get back pay, but federal contractors like Willie Joe Price are out of luck.
How much stress does this put on you to go this long without a paycheck?
It's hard. In the process, during this shutdown, my car broke down.
She's a cafeteria worker at the Library of Congress and has not been paid in more than 40 days.
House Speaker Mike Johnson, he says he's pretty angry over a provision in the funding bill that reopens the government. Here's Stephen Portnoy from ABC, and he will explain.
The bill the president signed includes a provision allowing senators to sue the government for $500,000 in damages if their records have been subpoenaed without their knowledge. Republicans say special counsel Jack Smith sought court orders for the call logs of 8 GOP senators, and some of them say they're now likely to sue under the new law. But House Republicans are furious that the provision, which doesn't cover them, was added to the bill by the Senate, and Speaker Mike Johnson now says he'll hold a vote to repeal it.
A penny for your thoughts? Well, that may be a collector's item at some point. The Mint has now stopped making pennies. After 230 years in circulation, the final penny was minted yesterday in Philadelphia. ABC's Andrea Fujii has more.
There are still 300 billion pennies in circulation, but retailers have voiced concerns as penny supplies run low, saying the phase-out was abrupt and came with no guidance from the government. Some stores now warning customers about a penny shortage and the possibility of having to round up prices.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res Nashville. You might have family coming over before the holidays, and I just want to tell you this. Your carpets are gross. And I tell you this from a place of love. I don't want your family leaving after Thanksgiving going, everything was great, but those carpets were nasty. You don't want that either. Call Zero Res Nashville today. You might be thinking, I don't have carpets. Well, maybe it's your air ducts. Maybe it's your tile. Maybe it's the rugs. Maybe it's the upholstery. Zero Res can do it all. And they'll do it the most Maha way possible with their exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue, which means your carpets, your upholstery, the works, they're not going to look insanely clean. They're going to stay clean longer. These guys are the best, and it's not going to break the bank. They'll do any room in your house right now for $45. Imagine the peace of mind knowing that those guys are coming before your family gets there for the holidays. Then you don't have to worry about anything. With over 4,500 Google reviews, 98% on Facebook recommendations, you know you're going with the right company. So call Zero Res Nashville today. 615-535-9376, 615-535-9376, or you can book online, ZeroResNashville.com. It's 11:37. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. I have no idea where the show went today. It's crazy that it's already 11:30-ish. It's just wild. We blink, and it's like the show's over. We could do 10 hours with the amount of news that's going on.
Easy. In
this country every single day. It's just wild. Without further ado, though, it's time to get to the stories that we didn't have a chance to get to. It's time for the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Every day this time, all the stories that couldn't fill a whole segment, stories that we didn't get a chance to get to, and more. We call it the lightning round. A little delayed there, fella.
Sorry, I almost hit a nice little...
No! Oh, gotta hit the right buttons. Let's start with John Fetterman. It's so funny. So if you're watching on Super Talk TV, there's a video that goes along with this clip. All the audio that you hear on your radio, there'll be videos for you on YouTube. It's one of the reasons why you should watch the show. But the Chiron, that's like the bar on the news channels that like has the ticker and has like the what they're talking about, all that. It's called the Chiron.
Yeah.
The Chiron says unfettered. Unfettered. Nice. Senator John Fetterman defying norms one hoodie at a time.
Hitting the main talking points.
You know that some intern back there at CNN was like, dude, I nailed the Chiron today.
They're high-fiving.
Did you see that? It's so good. Like, he is. And you know what? Kudos to that guy.
That's a good one.
He nailed it.
It's a good one.
Nailed it. He's defying the norms one hoodie at a time, except they weren't ready for him to defy these norms. He got on CNN, and they're like, well, it's both sides that are violent. And he's like, no, it's really just the left, Miss Bash.
That in your book, you said, quote, I've drunk deeply of the venom of both the left and the right. As a connoisseur, I can confirm that the most poisonous, the bitterest, is from the far left. That is pretty remarkable to hear you say that as an elected Democrat. Why?
Why is she so stunned? Like, they literally just shot Charlie Kirk in the throat. They were firebombing Tesla dealerships. They're shooting at ICE agents. Why are you shocked by this? Is anybody actually shocked by this? Dana, is she living in a bubble or is she just towing the line? Like, what is it? I bet you it's the bubble. Fetterman, continue.
No. It's just been my personal experience on this thing. And when I asked my digital team, I said, we're on all the platforms. Really, what's kind of the harshest? What's kind of the most personal? And the answer was immediate. He said, "Oh, blue sky. It's blue sky."
Blue sky. Blue sky is an absolute cesspool of liberals. Blue sky. At the day that Charlie was shot and killed, Blue Sky erupted with who should we have them kill next? As they were celebrating it. It is one of the worst places you can go. I find myself there often. I find myself there to troll the left.
Mining salt.
We salt mine. We troll. We like to do a little bit of trolling.
A little bit of trolling.
It's a weird platform because I think it's like AstroTurf. I don't think that there's a lot of real users on Blue Sky.
No, I think it's just taking up space.
But the people that are there, especially like the mid-level guys, like some of the bigger accounts get a lot of engagement. But the mid-level guys, I always go after Randy Weingarten. She's like one of my favorites because she gets no traction on any of her posts except for me posting GIFs of like Trump rolling his eyes.
She's the only reason that you're the only reason she's still on there.
She is one of my least favorite Democrats in the history of Democrats. And I mean, there's a few reasons, but Miss Weingarten is one of the worst. So I do find myself trolling her more than anybody else.
I don't blame you.
He says it's the harshest criticism on Blue Sky. Blue Sky.
And the difference is, I mean, the right would say really rough things and names. Some names I won't repeat on TV, but the on the left it was like they want me to die, or that we're cheering for your next stroke, or that's terrible that depression won. Why couldn't it depression won? And I hope your kids find you. I mean, They even have like the graphic, a GIF where they have like a stroke, in your head, cheering at that. Yeah, and they said that. I remember one. They claimed, the doctor let us down, and why did they have to save his life?
You ever see the meme where it's the two guys in the nooses and he's looking at the guy next to him? He goes, "First time." Yeah. I mean, is this not that meme in real life? Dana Bash is like, "Oh my gosh, how could this be? Are you sure it's not just the right-wing Nazis doing it? It's probably the right-wing Nazis, isn't it?" He's like, "No, it's blue-haired cat moms, actually. Blue-haired cat moms. The most tolerant." All right, got another story for you here in the lightning round. There you go. This one comes from Stephen A. Smith. I think Stephen A. is going to run for president. I'd love to see him in a debate. He went off on the Democrats on his show today. Why, do you ask, did he go off on the Democrats? Well, because of their fixation on the Epstein files.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that the Epstein files were in existence and free to have been opened during the Biden administration. You were there for 4 years. How come you didn't open it as a Democratic Party then?
It's a good point, Steve. It's a good point. A point that many on the left seem to be missing as they feel like the walls are closing in on Donald Trump. Oh, the walls are closing in again. Listen, if they had anything on Trump, they would have used it. Everybody knows that.
What am I missing? I'm not saying I know. It's a legitimate question. Maybe I don't remember the answer. Maybe my extraordinary producers should be able to help me during the commercial break. But from my understanding, the same files that were open or being open now with the 220 pages of documents or whatever it is, with various emails, that could have been done when Biden was in office.
Whoa, Steve. Think you've had a bit too much to think, my man. You're thinking too much. Now, listen, I want all the Epstein files released. I don't like it when Trump calls it a hoax. I think that's it. The messaging is so off, and if we can point to anything that Donald Trump has really messed up this term, it's messaging, right? The hoax isn't the Epstein files. The hoax is the Democrats' attention and trying to pin it on Donald Trump, and that needs to be explained better. But Stephen A. is absolutely right. Where was this energy while Biden was in office?
Well, why didn't you do it? If it's so important now. What were the Democrats doing at that particular moment in time?
Screwing up the country.
See? This is the kind of stuff that smells.
What does it smell like? What does it smell like, Steve?
Because my attitude is just deducing how much they despise Trump is if there was some real bona fide dirt on him, since you went after him with the 34 felony convictions, which essentially was deduced to him paying hush money to Stormy Daniels, a porn star, so she wouldn't reveal their happenings with one another leading up to the election in 2016. Okay? If you had something like that you were willing to parade him through the streets with, of course, if you had something on him about Epstein, you'd have let it go earlier to make sure he didn't become the 47th president. That's just my thinking from a logical perspective.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you're right. He's right. Stephen A. Smith is right. I love that he brought up Stormy Daniels. Have you seen Stormy Daniels recently? Anybody? She's not looking good. She's in the spirit of Christmas movies. She's looking like Danny DeVito as the Penguin in Batman Returns.
Oh.
She is. She was on MSNBC, and she looks. Here, I'll put it up on the screen for you. It's nightmare fuel. This is Stormy Daniels on the right, how she looks now, and on the left, how she used to look. Tell me that that's not Danny DeVito and Batman Returns. Corporate wants to know the difference between these two pictures. It's the same. It's the same picture.
It's the same picture.
It's the same picture. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. I'm a little bit upset. I'll be honest with you.
You're upset?
I am.
Why?
Got rid of pennies.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Not a fan of this.
Why?
Because it's just like, it's America, man.
I mean, that's fair.
The U.S. Mint has ended production of the penny, a move to save money and reflect how the 1-cent coin has lost its value over time.
Couldn't we just make it cheaper? Couldn't we just use something else?
Instead of copper?
Is that not an option? During World War II, we used steel.
That's true.
I have some steel pennies. I actually have like a badass coin collection.
Really?
I don't know if you know this about me.
That makes more sense why you're disappointed.
I want all the pennies.
Just bags of them.
I want all of the pennies. I have steel pennies. I got half pennies. I got hay pennies. I got everything.
You just a penny guy, or are you a?
I got some Buffalo nickels.
Okay.
I got some Buffalo nickels. I got a couple of JFK silver half dollars.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like I got some things. Got some things.
The final pennies were struck at the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, where the coins have been made since 1793. Officials say the last few will be auctioned off. Before striking the final penny, U.S. Treasurer Brandon Beach said, quote, "God bless America, and we're going to save the taxpayers $56 million. Pennies remain legal tender, but new ones won't be made. The last coin to be discontinued was the half cent in 1857.
Never should have happened, also. Just let the record show. It never should have happened.
The half cent?
It's been downhill for our currency since then. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, it was our inflation rate.
Correlation doesn't always equal causation. I understand that, but we do agree. Yeah, I don't like it. It just makes me disappointed. Makes me feel sad. Penny for your thoughts? Sorry, can't do it.
Can't do it. Got to up to at least a nickel.
Can't do it.
Old penny for your thoughts.
Well, Chris, do you realize each penny costs 3.7 cents to make?
Since when do they care about saving the taxpayer money, Jay Harper?
Hey, I'm not arguing with you. But,
since when? Listen.
But that's the reasoning they're using.
There's a lot of profit to be made if you're willing to melt those down. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, today's penny, well, since 82, today's penny, 97.5% zinc, and they're copper plated with 2.5% copper.
I mean, hey.
Yeah.
Do it. Make some money.
Don't even need to use steel because they're using zinc.
I know. What are we doing? Is zinc that much? Is it? Do we have a zinc issue? Is that what this is about?
I think it's the processing issue. Is that it costs too much to build, like actually put it together instead of the actual pieces involved.
Still, I don't like any of these excuses. That's all they are to me.
All right, Chris, get to work. Start making pennies.
I will. You guys are going to laugh. And then when we're old and I bust out the 50-cent rolls that I got, you're going to be like, damn, Chris was right.
Wish I had stacked up on my copper.
Is this just the beginning of a cashless society?
Oh, my gosh. Did you see that they're rolling out digital ID for U.S. passports on the iPhone?
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, that's coming. It's coming.
I know.
That's going to be one of the battles of our life, not letting them go cashless.
Yeah, there are some states that are doing digital driver's licenses that are on your phone.
Not a fan.
Yeah. I mean, it's just setting yourself up for hacking and all kinds of nefarious stuff.
Social credit scores.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I thought this was America. 11:51, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. After public pushback from Mason on the penny, he tells to me off the air that he's actually pro-penny. And I don't know why you had to push back against the pro-penny sentiment.
Hey, didn't you say earlier that pushback is what makes good radio?
You know what? You can take your anti-penny attitude and go work for Matt Murphy in the afternoon if that's what you want to do.
I'll let Jackson stay.
Are you tired of back or knee pain running your life? Then listen up, because this deal could change everything. Big Daddy Trump special from the Wellness Institute of Nashville. It will only cost you 1,200 pennies. That's it. That's it. $12. And it's going to get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment for only 1,200 pennies. This is a deal that you can't beat. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley aren't going to give up on getting you back to a pain-free life. And it doesn't matter what you're dealing with: back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs. They'll treat it all. And they're not going to focus on painful injections. They're not going to say, let's get you into surgery. And they're not going to prescribe you some opioids. That's not their style. They're going to look at non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. These guys are the best. Grab your MRI and get ready to finally understand your condition, but most importantly, fix it for good. 615-246-5009 is the number to call. 615-246-5009, or find them online, painisbad.com. Weirdo, and he dresses in bondage.
Yeah, I know.
11:57 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. What's up? Jay Harper's in the newsroom. Mason's in the producer studio. Chad Benson's in here with me. What's up, Chad?
What's up? Let's see, you guys got a bullhorn.
We're in a Martin Luther shirt?
Yeah, Martin Luther.
You down?
I'm down, man.
Are you Lutheran?
No, but it's just he was very brilliant. He was a brilliant man. Said a lot of real amazing stuff, and at a time when he looked at the Brits and said, "Yeah, no, we're doing some other things."
I'm a fan of anybody that snubs the Brits. If I'm being perfectly honest with you.
The Brits. What happened to you guys?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I forgot to do this story in the lightning round, but the perfect time because you can do a British accent.
Okay.
Do you know how much it's costing them to remove the British flags, the Union Jack that people are putting up in England?
Oh, God, I'm sure it's hundreds, thousands, millions of pounds.
It's nearly $100,000 a month, pounds.
Wow.
Because people are putting up the unauthorized British flags.
Yes, the unauthorized. Again, what the hell happened to them?
I saw a video, a guy went to walk into a pub in England, and he had the British flag, and they said, "You can't come in here with that." I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
That is insane. That is, they have lost the plot. And it's funny because we're going to do a story today about what they're doing in Denmark and how they're taking on the immigration and how they were the first ones. And the left is the ones that's taking it on. And it's really interesting comparatively. The way that they're coming at stuff is much different. The Brits they've just given up on so many things. And the Scandinavians are like, yeah, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah, no, they've given up completely. There's a video going around of anti-rape underwear. Instead of getting rid of the third worlders who are doing the raping, they've come up with a brand new idea. It's anti-rape underwear. You can't rip it off.
Wow, that sounds weird. Like when you would tell a boy, "Oh, yeah, her skirt's too short. It makes the boys uncomfortable." Instead, it would be like she needs to wear, a giant dress and a chastity belt.
Yep. We're full circle.
And they're worried about
full
what?
Circle.
They're worried about being what? Racist?
You can't be racist. So here is a bike lock for your underpants.
Some of y'all need a bike lock for your underpants. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. What are you talking about today?
We're going to talk a bit about Denmark and how they're approaching this. This is so interesting the way they're trying to assimilate, and it's actually going in front of the European courts because they don't like it. But it's the left side of the aisle that brought it, and they're being completely open about it. Finally, Sweden had to come out and admit, yeah, we got a problem here. But their problem's a little bit different than the Brits. The Brits this is an identity crisis. The Scandinavians are like, because a lot of these people forget, they've been there for 30, 40 years. It's an assimilation.
Yeah.
And assimilation from the money side of it more than anything else. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to probably hit up some Epstein or the hemp stuff, which is an interesting thing because we're just having a big conversation about that out there. Who knows what else? We're going to have a lot of fun.
Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.